Paralyzed at the age of 16, Rohan Gandhi had the support of his family as he built his life afresh. Past the fear of what others think, discrimination for being on a wheelchair, mental strength is not the only beautiful thing that has come out of that experience. We continue with Rohan's journey in part 2. You've come back to Kenya. Mm-hmm. It's been 8 years in Canada.
Right.
You've studied.
Yeah.
You were obviously working there.
Yeah.
And opportunities there are better. The situation there, I mean, in terms of money,
right,
and making a lot more money out there, it's always a given. But you decided to come back, unless, of course, the opportunities weren't better and the money wasn't better.
Well, for me, money doesn't make a difference in the sense I achieve self-satisfaction and from things other than money. For instance, music. If you're passionate about something, do it, right? The money eventually will come, I feel. If you work, the opportunities in Canada are not very different from the opportunities here, especially for an able-bodied person. Yeah. Maybe for me, in my state, Canada might be better in terms of jobs and the availability, like equal opportunity employers is what they're called, that they can't discriminate against hiring a person in a wheelchair. And that's also taking place in Kenya now.
Yes.
Right? People are not aware enough of what the National Council for People with Disabilities in Kenya are actually doing. Mm-hmm. They're doing so much. Right? If anyone has a chance, just being on this platform, I'll tell you to go and research it and look at what they do for us people.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So opportunity there is one thing, but I want to come back and do something that I can help people who are now recently paralyzed, or the youth who are dealing with depression, dealing with mental issues that they don't understand what their future is going to be like. Mm-hmm. I want them to look at me and say that, okay, if he could do it, fine. He may not be fully recovered yet. He may not be walking fully, but he made a lifestyle change that has done him good, and he is now confident enough to go about his daily activities without any assistance from anyone.
Right. And I'm thinking about music. Music for you is not because of anything other than you're going to tell stories and you're going to help build other people.
Right.
And music, like we said at the beginning, is powerful.
Right.
Music moves us.
Yeah.
It pushes revolutions. Think about every known struggle. Music is right there.
Right.
Whether it's the freedom, independence, revolution as well,
yeah.
Music is part of the culture. Right. And I'm wondering, how long has it been? Have you released any music? What sort of style is this that you've got? Because,
music in general is a reflection of self. That's what they say, right? For me, after I got paralyzed, I didn't know what sport to play. I didn't know what to do until I always had a poetic wit to me. But when I picked up a pen and I started penning down lyrics, making words rhyme, it started off as poetry for me. And I was like, this is a way for me to vent. Men hide their emotions. I used to bury mine after I got paralyzed. I didn't know who to talk to. Aside from my mom and dad or my brother, like there are certain things you can't also tell your own parents. Being a growing boy that's just in the age of puberty, 16, right? There are things that you can't talk. Like all my friends would have a girlfriend maybe, but I'm here in a wheelchair, this overweight individual who no girl would even look at, correct? So these things are what sparked ideas in my mind that if I could pen that down as lyrics, some people paint, some people paint, some people
sculpt.
Yeah, they sculpt, or they go into, like, everyone has their passion. Some people like photography. For me, I found my mind moving more towards poetry, and it was a blessing because I wrote down everything. People have a diary; they write down their thoughts. Same thing, same concept exactly.
Okay.
And that's what sparked it. But after that, I observed, like I said, I grew up listening to hip hop music, right? And everyone in in my area of living. Like I said, I grew up in Gumo.
It's in Gumo. That's hip-hop central.
Hip-hop central, and the fact I was probably the only Indian in a 5-mile radius.
Right.
Living there, right? So I grew up with people who were always focusing on the likes of Tupac, Biggie. At the time, listening to them. So you can't help but also start listening to, like, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with.
That's
so if I'm sitting with 5 people who are listening to hip hop, I'm the 6th guy that's going to listen to hip hop. And whether it was Kenyan hip hop, Channel 5 EATV at the time, I was Trace TV still going on, but I was always motivated by how people combined that wordplay now over a beat, bringing in that music and now making it entertainment for the world.
Okay.
Right?
I'm telling you, if you do not get a record deal, we make a record deal. Of that, I promise. But the 2 things that you've just mentioned, being overweight and being depressed.
Yeah.
How I'm looking at you now, and I'm not looking at an overweight man, and I'm hearing, you go to the gym and you do extraordinary things in there.
Right.
When did you shed the weight? When did that transition happen?
Even when I went to Canada. So when I got paralyzed, I was given a really high dose of steroids as my medical treatment. And I think African and Indian communities are very, very similar. Is when somebody goes to a hospital, what's the first way you comfort them? You bring them food. What do you want to eat?
Yes.
Right? So I kept eating, not realizing what was going on because I had not seen my reflection in the mirror for over 2 weeks. Right. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, my God, that's not me.
Hello.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, that's not me. Whereas, like, someone's double my size.
Right.
Right? But, okay, you come to reality like, yes, okay, fine, this happened to me. But it was not until, and people used to ignore me. I'd go into a room, no one would even look at me, no one would conversate with me properly. And it actually I actually went downwards, right? I lost all my confidence. And the only reason I would go out was because my brother would force me and say that it doesn't matter what they think of you, right? It's what you think of yourself and what we think of you, right? So they took me everywhere with them, never made me feel any less. But at the back of my mind, I was still insecure until I went to Canada. I studied bachelor's in engineering, 4 years there. I was still overweight. Until in my 4th year, a girl actually came up to me for the first time and she said that, you're a good looking guy, right? But you're just fat, you're overweight, and I go to the gym all the time. Would you want to join me? And it was that moment when somebody complimented me at the same time took away my ego boost, if you know what I'm saying. She's telling me, you're a good-looking guy, but you're fat. You're a good-looking guy, but you're fat. So it's like balance out the compliment with take it away kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So I started going to the gym with her, and it always helps when somebody's motivating you to do something. I went to the gym with her, and I shredded the weight. A year after shredding the weight is when I saw people's attitudes, opinions, everything changed towards me. Everyone started being nice to me. Everyone started saying, hey, we're going out here. Would you like to join us? And I was like, wow, okay. And the more people speak to you well, they motivate you.
The more open you get.
Exactly, yeah. And it inspires you to that if I can do this much, I can do so much more, right? And when I came back to Kenya, still, some of the people that I grew up with were still looking at me as that person.
Yeah, someone to pity, someone you're not quite sure what to do with.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I think it's an insecurity where people don't know what to say to a person in a wheelchair. So they'll crack the odd joke of, hey, slow down there, Speedy. One of those kind of things, you know, which some people may find offensive, but some people like myself, we just don't care. We don't know whether you're offending me or whether I don't care.
If it sounds funny, you have a good laugh and move on.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that changed my whole perception of life in general after I lost the weight. And I started making friends easier. And when I came back, I had more confidence as well. Yeah. So it really did well for me.
Okay.
And that's what I think a lot of people who are going through depression or who are fighting difficult situations in their life need to see. That's all in your mind.
It's all in you and how you choose. You can choose to agree with what people's opinions are. Right. And those are opinions, not facts.
Right.
Or you can choose to go with what you know is real because that's a fact.
Right.
Okay. Talking about music and bridging the gap, where can we find your music? Have you been recording? Do you perform?
Temporarily, what I do is I record from home, right? I don't have the best equipment. I don't have the push that other musicians have over here. I'm relatively known amongst the Asian community, but the Asian community is not the only target audience that I want. My music is not to get me fame or recognition. My music is to reach the youth, to send a message to people. Like, aside from motivating and inspiring, is to send a message through music that paint a different picture with music. Most artists right now, that they write about what they aspire to be, even when they're not necessarily that. They rap about a big house.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it,
Bra.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better. But they're rapping about things that they don't currently have. I'm rapping about things I've seen with my own eyes. Music has to be authentic. It has to be believable by your audience.
And you know,
Right.
that just goes back to the Biggies and the Tupacs. Because
Exactly.
it was about what they saw, what they really
Right.
experienced. And that's why we love them.
Right.
And that's why we love you.
Yeah.
If you're honest enough to tell us those stories,
Right.
there's definitely room for that. And are you using social media?
I am, yeah.
Like
I don't create sponsored ads through social media because I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I believe if people like my thing, my music, they'll share it on their. I'll get the merit I deserve based on.
So you're looking at organic growth and people telling
Exactly.
people, telling people, telling people,
Yeah.
spread the word. And a good thing will always go far. But the future for you, because we've talked about, you know, the illness and therapy
Right.
and regaining quite a bit of your strength back.
Yeah.
What do doctors say in terms of mobility in the future for you?
So just over the years, the physiotherapy and the training that I keep doing,
Yeah.
I've reached a point where I can actually walk with crutches, but I still have instability in my pelvic area. So for me to get up from the wheelchair to have a proper human gait and to prevent myself from falling down is very risky.
Yeah.
If I was to go out to a social setting like a club, for instance, and someone was to bump into me with their shoulder and I was to fall down,
Yeah.
the embarrassment is not what I'm worried about. It's about injuring myself. I already have low muscle tone on my legs. If I crack a bone or something, that's going to take me backwards. So rather than moving 5 steps forward and 10 steps back, I'd just rather move 5 steps
Pace
forward.
yourself,
Yeah.
keep building, keep
Yeah.
growing. It's been 12 years, and if it takes another 12 years, you will get there.
I will get there.
Rohan,
Yeah.
you are such an inspiration. I'm sure this friendship will last forever.
For sure.
I'm going to be stalking you. Huh?
Hey, I've been stalking you since the time you were a celeb, right? So, I get it.
No, you are truly such a pleasure to be. I mean, isn't
Thank
that how life goes? Sometimes we look up to people and then we meet them
Yeah.
in very different circumstances.
Exactly.
You've got so much to say and so much I want to hear you say. But in closing, what would you like to say to people who are tuned in? And it's not just in Kenya, it's worldwide, baby.
Exactly.
We on YouTube.
Yeah, do it up.
Yes.
So I just want to let the people know that out there, strength in itself is not, it's a learned behavior. It doesn't have to be necessarily part of your character. You can observe strong people and know what it is that makes them strong and make yourself stronger as well. You can wheel yourself out of any bad situation. It's all your mental state of mind. Mm-hmm. That's what matters. And society is going to try and box you into what they want to shape you to be like. Don't let that happen. Like, be your own self, be your own person. There's ways of achieving self-satisfaction and self-motivation aside from what maybe your parents tell you, maybe what your friends tell you. And don't listen to what people tell you, always. Listen to good advice, but listen to the people that are advising you in a positive way and keep those people around you.
Keep those people around you. Keep
Yeah.
those positive vibes happening. Yeah. You know I can't get out of this show without a beat or two, without a flow or so. So come on, I'll be the background vocalist. Or Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the original
no,
Nicki.
no.
You are the
Yeah,
original
I am the
Nicki.
original
Yeah.
Nicki. She came in here and took my name.
I know, right? Yeah.
But it's okay, I was working, so it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just recite something that it's more poetic than anything. It's like, Motivated, it is persistency that portrays me as a threat through my consistency. As I put in all the work, as I put in all the time, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to see me shine. They don't know how hard it is for people like us to wake up every day just to keep our fight up. They will hate you if you're different from them, and they will hate you if you are a little better than them. Man, check it. Not all of us are blessed with a platform or a personal bank account to draw cash from. We work hard just to influence or transform, just to live the good life. See, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that on a fair day, you cannot be better than me given fair play. Everyone is perfect, but to me they seem regular. Excellence is average. I am spectacular. See, the truth is that if someone else wrote this, you'd appreciate it more. And I quote this: you think I'm doing this just so I can make a good impression? Your opinion does not matter to me, my confession. I keep on doing this because I must. I keep on doing it just for us. I'm easy with the hate. I don't care about love. I do not need to be told that I am talented. My confidence in myself troubles you, doesn't it?
What? 5 mics. To infinity.
Well, yeah.
We have got to find you a deal. And I'm going to be in that studio when that's happening.
I want you to sing. I want you to sing something.
Yes. You know, and
Yeah,
Nicki
the hook.
Minaj is... Anyway, let's just move on. She's got enough on her hands with Remy Ma.
Right, with Remy Ma tearing on you. Yeah, leave the lady.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Online. Can we share your social media links on my social media?
Right, yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
so that we
Yeah.
can tell the story and get everybody ready for your first hit. It's got to drop.
It's got to drop. And it's got to be perfect, which is why I don't put anything out on YouTube until I achieve perfection.
Until it's there, and this is the year something tells me.
God willing. I believe a lot in
Something
higher
tells
power.
me,
So
and that's why we're going to be friends.
Yeah.
When you believe in God, you know that there's so much more than what you see.
exactly. What he can do,
Asante.
no man can do.
It never ever, never can and never will.
Correct.
All right then. So
Thank you so much
check
for
out-
having me.
You're so welcome. Please don't even say thank you. I'm the one who's honored you here. Well, what? I know people. So check out my social media sites for links to this amazing man's pages. Connect with him. Talk with him. If you need inspiration, if you're going through something, say it and say it loud. Thank you so much for catching up with us. We are at Westwood Hotel signing out. I've had such a great chat with you. Rohan,
Awesome. Yeah.
you're just the best.
was
Live
really
out
fun.
loud in all things. I challenge you to be as loud as this man is. See you next time.
Be brave.
Yeah, that too. And wow.
Yeah.